Okay, we have people arriving and we are about to start this webinar in just a sec as people are all settled in their various seats in various places. Okay, I think that everybody can hear us now. And yes, I've got confirmation of that. So I'm going to get started. I am Susan Ingalls, and I direct Sustainable Furnishings Council, and I'm so pleased to welcome all of you in our audience and our esteemed panelists to this webinar where we are going to talk about the Green Ribbon Awards, first ever, and the discussion will reveal how the Green Ribbon products were chosen. Today's panel discussion is going to be led by Breegan Jane of Breegan Jane Interiors, with John Eason of John Douglas Eason Interior Design, Jennifer Jones of Niche Interiors, Laurence Carr of Laurence Carr Interior Design, and Anelle Gandelman of A-List Interiors. And I am really excited about hearing what they all have to say. But first, of course, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sustainable Furnishings Council, that we are beginning our 15th year of doing the work of helping companies who are involved in residential furnishings in various ways reduce their environmental footprint and helping consumers find the more environmentally safe furnishings they would prefer. We do this with a lot of educational programming for professionals in the industry, like our Green Leaders program, and for consumers. Each of our member companies has made their own public and verifiable commitment to sustainability and to transparency and to continuous improvement. So we can all feel good about doing business with these 400 member companies. Our work is important because there are so many sustainability issues that are urgent in this day and age, and we in the furnishings industry relate directly, impact directly a lot of these issues. As a global manufacturing industry, we are burning a lot of fossil fuel to run the power in our factories and to transport materials and products all over the world. Frequently, those materials are wood materials or forest-based materials. We use a lot of wood and we add the highest value to the wood resource. So we have a large responsibility for halting deforestation. We also have a large responsibility for the quality of the air in our indoor environments that might be compromised by volatile organic compounds coming off finishes and adhesives that are in the furnishings. And there are other hazardous chemicals that are used in furniture manufacture that do come into our homes and sometimes compromise our health. Those flame retardant chemicals, those polyfluorinated chemicals that are used in stain treatments, antimicrobials, vinyl, etc. All of these persist in the environment and are linked directly to human health problems as well as to problems for life otherwise on the planet. And these chemicals can become toxic waste when they are not dealt with properly. There is a lot of toxic waste that results from textile production, also from leather production. And toxins that are in the environment are a special concern for cotton cultivation, much of which is unfortunately still accomplished with forced labor. And of course, the people, whether they're forced to or not, who are working in cotton that is sprayed with chemicals are exposed to those chemicals even more than you and I are if you happen to drive by a cotton field at this time of year. Finally, we have a waste problem with furniture. Too much of it is thrown away. So these are the kinds of things that we address in our work with initiatives such as our What's It Made Of initiative, which is to encourage transparency and address the problem of this handful of hazardous chemicals that are commonly found in furnishings. Another initiative, which we'll be discussing in detail in a couple of days, is the Wood Furniture Scorecard, where we are helping retailers do their part to avoid deforestation. All these things are important because the planet is heating up. The planet is in trouble. Since early in the Industrial Revolution, we have had, as we can see here, more weather events that are hotter than normal than are cooler than normal. So these weather anomalies are tending more and more to the hot side and are going to make life unbearable on the planet unless we make different choices, which brings us to our choices in furnishings products. The Green Ribbon Award has been awarded by all our SFC ambassadors to product that is shown at High Point Market. We, of course, are not at High Point Market right now. We are coming to you from the comfort of our homes in various parts of the country, but there is product being shown in High Point now, and there are people there shopping for it, and all of us can shop for it online using the Guide to Green at High Point Market, which you have received by email recently. This discussion is of the products that our panelists chose. This initiative is made possible by our sponsors, whom we thank. We could not do the work that we do without a little bit of money, and our sponsors are generous in supporting our work. So we thank them. With this, y'all, I am going to hand the conversation over to Breegan Jane, and I will advance the slides for you, Breegan, as you give me a cue. Okay. And let's just be sure. It looks like most people are hearing us. So Breegan, let's be sure we can hear you.
Hello, everybody, and good morning. Susan, I love your passion around sustainable furnishings and the planet and the world. And I think there's a lot of information there that really can feel like mind-boggling, you know, and like you can't do your part. So I'm really excited to go through this and put this into a tangible product list of how easy it is to make good decisions. I don't know if anyone else needs motivation around sharing this earth with other human beings, but also other animals. I highly recommend My Octopus Teacher on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but I watched it just recently with my boys, and it reminds me how precious our world is in a human story that motivates me to want to do more of this work. So thank you, Susan, for being our fearless leader. I want to take a moment to say hi to my friends, Anelle, Jennifer, John, and Laurence, all joining us here today. We will get a chance to see their product list, but I would also, Susan, if we have a moment, say hello to each one of them at the top, as they are also soldiers for good change. John, do you want to lead us? You are the first Sustainable Furnishing Council ambassador, correct? Or the longest one on this list?
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Did you say me?
Correct the way I said that.
Yes, I think I am the longest standing member on the panel, although I'm not 100% sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. And John, tell us where you are now.
Okay, I'm coming from gray and rainy New York City today, and my husband and I have actually just both opened a gallery, and I'm in our gallery. So that's why we have the beautiful velvet walls.
John always has the best backgrounds.
Pardon?
You always have the best backgrounds.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's culture object. We
I
do
love
have a
it.
name.
I love it. And Laurence, where are you today?
Yes, hi, Breegan. Nice to be here. I am in New York City. My design firm is in New York City, but right now I am in New Jersey, just across the Washington Bridge, where I live with my family.
Thank you for being here with us. Jennifer, you helped me get my audio all set. To everyone who's on here today, if we hit any technical glitches, I think we are all new to a new platform today, so please be forgiving. And Jennifer helped me. Jennifer, hi.
Hi, I am in, well, our office is in San Francisco, and I'm in Piedmont, which is a little town basically inside of Oakland, across the bridge. And it's sunny and beautiful here today.
And last but definitely not least, Anelle, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, although sharing this awful rainy weather that's been going for 2 days here with John. My firm, A-List Interiors, is also based in Manhattan, but I live in Westchester, which is about half an hour north of where I'm coming from today.
I'm feeling a little bit of feedback, Susan, but I want to make sure we go through this. So I guess we'll switch to the next slide. And Susan, if the feedback is on my end, we may need to switch to you leading some of these slides.
And why don't each of us mute ourselves when we're not talking? That'll be a lot of on and off the mute, but I think it'll handle some of the feedback probably. So, Breegan, we start with products that you chose. So you might tell
Let's
about.
go. Well, I think, so we will be showing you these products as well on the slide. Susan, if you want to switch to the next slide, I'm still seeing the first one with all our beautiful
Now
names.
see the picture of the baskets.
I do not on my screen, but does anyone else? I will tell you about the baskets though, that you'll see as Susan figures it out. I picked 3 baskets because they're individually hand woven in Zimbabwe with indigenous grasses. So I think when we're talking about waste, we want to make sure that we are using products that are locally sourced, and when they're farmed and handmade by people with love, you can see it now in the way that the product is resembled. There's just a warmth and texture there that I am personally really drawn to. And part of that is the way in which it is made. I also love a minimal black and white room. I recommend baskets for anyone with pets, kids, stuff you need to hide. So this for me is a very approachable way to bring something into the home by making a smart product choice. And then after this one,
So
on
this
the next
is
slide,
by Dira.
yes, this is by Dira. Thank
And
you,
then
Susan.
the next one. Here we go. Do you see?
Yes. Oh, we skipped, but we had the rug by
Jaipur Living.
yes. And I think that this is another great way to just show, Susan, how the Sustainable Furnishings website can be very useful in partners for products that you're entering for your client's home that you're buying every day. So my favorite color is teal. I just like this rug. And so I think for me, the approachability behind making conscious choices on basic items is really easy. So for me, I was drawn to share this product because of the beauty, because of the texture, but also it's gonna help combat all of this, you know, Mother Earth that we are needing to take more care of. Then, right?
And Jaipur, I'll make sure our listeners know that both Dira in the slide before and Jaipur Living are woman-owned businesses. and both are working with artisans in large geographic areas. Dira works not only in Zimbabwe, but in several other African countries. And Jaipur Living works with weavers, many of whom are women working out of their homes in many parts of the whole country of India.
It's amazing. Thank you, Susan. Yes, it's very important. The next one I love because it's an item you interact with and you touch. And so I love linen bedding. I always recommend asking your clients. It's something that is a specific touch that I enjoy. I think that they're airy. I love the temperature of them, but it's something I've had to teach clients to enjoy as well. But yeah, linen, organic linen is great. I wrote some notes, but there's a quote here that says, "The farmers growing the flax that we use in this collection are some of the most passionate, organic people we've come across." And it's those stories that make you feel good when you crawl in bed at night and can rest your head assured. And do you know anything more about this company, Susan?
I sure do. Libeco is, you can count on me to have something to say about everything. Libeco is one of our gold exemplary members of Sustainable Furnishings Council, and they earn that designation by implementing sufficient best practices and proving it to us. And one of the extraordinary things that Libeco is doing is they are a carbon neutral company. So they produce a product that inherently is less carbon intensive in cultivation and in production, but also they offset the carbon they do produce. They're based in Belgium. There is transportation involved. It is made in a factory. That factory does use electricity, but what do? They offset that carbon, which is an extremely responsible step to take.
And all I have to do is sleep in comfy sheets and buy them.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. And then the last item that I picked is this armchair, and it's made from reclaimed teak. And so I know you talked a lot about wood and wood products being sourced correctly instead of incorrectly. This is an approachable chair that can go anywhere. I look forward to getting back into restaurant design once things sort of level back out, but I love a great armchair. I think they're important to have a sturdy arm on a beautiful wood piece of furniture.
Yeah, and this one made by Safavieh. Safavieh is very responsible in their choices of wood material. So, so that for sure, Breegan, as you're saying, and further, they of course make a lot of rugs, and their concern for being responsible in production does go to the rug production as well. Okay.
And I love their stuff. And next, I will turn this over so each of you can go through your slides. And Susan, you have lots of information to add.
That's right. But Jennifer, why don't you get started and tell us about this sofa from Cisco?
Yeah, my pleasure. Actually, Cisco Home is one of my favorite manufacturers, so I was very pleased to see that they are a member. I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, but they were one of the first retailers to actually offer non-toxic upholstery.
Yes.
Yeah, and flame retardant free upholstery, right?
That's right. They are a real leader in this realm. They are a founding member of Sustainable Furnishings Council, and they also are a company that's been designated exemplary because they're implementing sufficient best practices.
Yeah. So the biggest reason that I love them is because they don't use flame retardants, and so there's no flame retardants in any of their upholstery. And to get around the flame retardant, the CA, the California standard, they were using natural latex wrapped in organic wool for their foam, which is naturally fire retardant. And so they're still making sofas that way, using FSC certified frames and low VOC finishes. So those are the main reasons that I'm a fan of this. You can lay on your sofa and not worry about your kids breathing in toxic you know, fumes or chemicals when you have these sofas or upholstery in your home. So I also like how tailored this actual sofa is. I think it could really work in lots of different homes. It has very clean lines. I could see it in a living room or in a family room. So
Cool.
yeah. Maybe we can head to the next one. Do you have anything more to add on that, Susan?
No. So do you see the? Oops.
Yes. Go back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I love this little table by Calligaris. When I did a little digging on Calligaris, I was very impressed by their green resume. They've actually committed to using FSC certified wood way back in 2006. So that was, to me, a big deal. That's part of the reason I chose this product. They also use low VOC finishes. They also have green sustainable manufacturing practices, such as using solar energy at their factories and reducing packaging waste and using recyclable materials wherever possible. So those were my main reasons for choosing this piece. And I also like the design. It has a little bit of a mid-century flair, and I think it would work well, you know, in a media room as side tables, or you could put them together, two next to each other for a coffee table, kind of flexible arrangement.
Yeah.
Do you have, oh, okay.
So now there is a delay. Sorry about that. But now we're looking at Varaluz.
Varaluz, this is a new company to me, but I was impressed to see how much recyclable material that they're using. So all of the glass in their fixtures is 100% recycled. And I'm not sure the content on the metal, but they use recycled metal for everything. Recycled steel in the case for this fixture.
It's also 100% recycled.
Yeah. And their manufacturing practices are also sustainable. It was impressive to see that they've reduced their packaging waste by 45%, which I thought was pretty huge. So those were the main green tenets of this, but I love the style of it. I think it's very glam and dramatic. I could see it in a formal entryway or foyer, or even a dining room that has very, you know, high ceilings. Anything to add about Varaluz?
Varaluz does their production in the Philippines, and they, as you say, they have very careful practices for all their procedures, and they are really champions of recycling in the materials they choose for production and in the materials they choose for shipping and getting those products to you.
Great.
Yeah. So now we'll turn to Laurence. Thank you very much, Jennifer. We'll turn to Laurence, and Laurence, we have a light here as well. Why don't you tell us about the choices you've made here?
Yes, thank you, Suzanne. So my first piece is from Mill Collective. Mill Collective is actually, I believe, Suzanne, a new member at this.
They are a member of our organization for a couple of years now. Yep.
Wonderful. They are the design home that curates and represents about 50 designers, makers. And this year they have about 30 that are exhibiting at the High Pond Market at Bobo Intriguing Objects. And particularly chose that piece. That was a really tough choice because what I love with Mill Collective is that they represent makers who really truly use their hands to really actually make their pieces. And most of them have very sustainable practices using reclaim natural materials. And this lighting piece is made by Wendy Umanoff, a woman lighting designer, who is part of a design community in Richmond, Virginia. And her pieces are one of a kind, costume designed, intriguing, modern, and industrial and eclectic. So this vintage industrial lever pendant is made of reclaimed materials. And here we can see these are actually the colorful pieces are machine levers in steel. The colors were used for coding when they were used. And she created this industrial original light with brass as well. What I love about this is that Wendy works with a picker who goes find local materials and has an antique mall. And then Wendy takes some of these materials for each of her piece, and then she reuses them and upcycle them. That she transforms these pieces into a piece of lighting. So by doing this practice, she is really contributing to the circular economy, which is so important and vital for the future of our planet. No take, make, waste, but actually reusing and upcycling to avoid more waste. So I can see this piece really used above a bedside table. That would be a very original way to just have two pendants that are so whimsical. Now Red Egg. Red Egg is led by Carol, who a woman led a business, which, you know, this Suzanne you're very familiar with. Maybe you can tell us, since then there have been members.
Red Egg has been a member of the Sustainable Furnishings Council for many years and is remarkable in being a woman-led business. Further, is remarkable in having brought their production back to High Point. So there is an Asian aesthetic. The company started as an import company importing Asian antiques, and now makes original furniture influenced by that aesthetic, but is making it right in High Point. And I love the reverse colonial movement of that it is Chinese influenced aesthetic made in High Point of American materials.
That's right. That's exactly why I selected this piece. You know, it's East meets West. With all the sustainable components as you described. This piece is called Double Happiness, which I love the title. It's a flat screen console. You know, the goal is to actually hide Xbox or, you know, any electronic you have in there. And it's a versatile piece with a classic look using metal hardware. And metal handmade wood hardware. So this one is made of wood maple and with finished lacquer. So really beautiful piece, really a notable company that we can see and we can place anywhere in the home. It will always be a standout. The next product I chose from this company, A2 Home. Really a great series of reclaimed pine wood, you know, finished with a 100 plant-based food-safe hard hand wax. These wonderful wood board are wonderful elements for a kitchen. They're not only functional, but they're very decorative. And what I love about this company is that they really want to embody the European, you know, designs and honor techniques and honest materials that, you know, consumer can trust. So I thought it was important, A2 Home being also, I believe, a recent member, to just highlight what they do.
Yeah, thank you so much. They are a wonderful member, and they are bringing entire products from Eastern Europe, as well as using materials that would be rejected and thrown away, and making them into those wonderful new products. Here we're looking at some choices that Tom Felicia made. These are rugs by Feizy, and they are all natural materials. These are made on the left of wool on a cotton warp, and on the right of jute with wool. And they are, so that natural material gives them the look we're enjoying seeing here. And also reduces, of course, the impact of making them. Feizy has a commitment to social equity, as well as a commitment to safe materials. Tom Felicia also chose this Wescott bed, which he makes with Vanguard furniture. And Vanguard does all their production of this bed and other upholstered furniture in North Carolina. And they are especially careful about their choices in materials as well. Why is that a big deal? Because the what a product is made of is about 80% of the environmental impact of that product. Here we are returning to linen, to Libeco linen, to Libeco linen bedding, which is, as Breegan was saying, wonderful to sleep upon and also looks great. So those people who are at High Point Market will be seeing this bedding on the bed that we saw in the last photo. Tom Felicia also has a license with Krabbit, and these are some of the textiles that are favorites this season. The flock fabric and a couple of linens, very pretty colors. And Laurence, you chose this sofa from Krabbit, which I believe is covered in linen too. So linen is useful not only for bedding, obviously, but for upholstery. And the one you showed, Jennifer, from Cisco was linen, and that is Libeco linen. So now we are going to look at a couple of things that Laura Hodges chose. This is a sofa from Lee Industries, which has been in business since maybe since 1967. Gosh, I wish I could remember exactly how long they've been in business. It's a very long time, y'all, a very long time now. And so they have been in business long enough to revisit some of their older designs, such as this that is definitely mid-century modern. And Laura also chose this table from E.J. Victor. E.J. Victor manufactures in Central North Carolina as well, and makes very careful choices with wood, and is known for their beautiful, careful use of veneers, which you can see on the top of this Toulouse dining table, which is, as you can see, banded at the bottom with recycled metal. This is a very cool Vanguard piece, this bent wood chair that they call the Fritz chair. And what is it upholstered in but linen? Now, John, let's turn to you to talk about this planter from Nature's Legacy and some other things. So we'll make sure, John, that you are not there. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay, yes. Sorry about that. What drew me to these planters from Nature's Legacy is number one, I love anything that's textured, and their planters have an incredible textured feel to them. They also have a simplicity, but they're unique. I haven't seen anything else like these guys out on the market. Part of the way that they obtain that texture is they are made of ground stone, so of a natural product that's found in nature, and I find that to also be is a part of the story, part of what makes them so special. And these, they have a number of different styles, and they are very, very serious about being involved with nature. I think that they have a saying that's nature is at the center of everything we do. Yeah. And
you can see that.
Nice philosophy.
It is. And they're this stone, the stone dust they use to make this product is industrial waste. They are premier recyclers. They also make a cement using paper that is recycled, and they also make interesting materials with the litter on the forest floor. So they're good at sticking things together to make interesting textures. They're a founder of Sustainable Furnishings Council. Here is the picture of the Greenington bed.
Okay, and this the interesting thing about Greenington is I believe everything they make is made from bamboo, and bamboo is important because it grows very quickly. It grows to full mature life. I think it's 5 or 6 years. And I don't know that we always think, when we think of furnishings that are made of bamboo, as being beautiful. Yet the style, the design of this, it's very handsome. I like the clean lines. I love floating beds. in the middle of the room when we have a big room. And I love that the detail on the back of this bed, it's as beautiful from the front side as it is from the back side, or back side is the front side. And let's see, I believe that bamboo puts back, for the same amount of trees, bamboo gives us back like 35% more oxygen. Is that correct?
True, because it grows so quickly. Yes.
Okay, and the last piece was another from Vanguard. I don't think I've heard you mention. I think they're one of your founding partners, right?
They are a founder, absolutely.
Since 2007, I believe.
Yeah.
And what I happen to like in this vignette are the two Ottomans that are under the console. I find more and more for me with decorating projects, you know, it's funny, I lived my entire life until my last home, and I never had an Ottoman or anything for kicking up my feet. I designed for myself an L-shaped sofa and an Ottoman. I almost won't design a family room without. I mean, Ottomans are a terrific pull-in piece. If you have, you know, extra kids, somebody, you know, you're playing games at a cocktail table, they are just a wonderful, very versatile piece. And I think Vanguard also has a motto, and theirs is sustainability is not just a program, it's a way of life.
Cool, cool. And you can see that when you visit their factory too. Now we're going to move to some products that Libby Langdon chose, including this fabric, which is a performance fabric made in North Carolina by Revolution Performance Fabrics. It's a polypropylene. What is polypropylene? Polypropylene, also known as olefin, is a material made from the gas that comes off when we extract natural gas by fracking. So you've seen flares burning around fracking operations. An alternative is to harness that gas and to make it into a fiber. And the fiber is waterproof. You know, it's plastic basically. So it's very waterproof and very durable all in all. And these days, it is also interesting looking, attractive to look at, and also much softer than it was when olefin was first invented. Libby also chose this little nightstand from Simply Amish, and I think this has a nice mid-century look to it that kind of goes nicely with that fabric we were just looking at. This is made in Ohio by Amish craftspeople of wood that comes from right there in the Appalachians as well. And Simply Amish also is carbon neutral. All the factories are run by power generated off the grid. And Libby chose this plant from this maguey from Canvas Nursery. This is a manufactured botanical, and it is not plastic. Canvas Nursery makes permanent botanicals that use no plastic whatsoever. So this one is made of canvas. And Libby also chose this rug from Angie Mountain. Angie Mountain is a player in the circular economy. They are doing a lot of textile recycling in India where their rugs are manufactured. And they do some manufacture, this I think is polypropylene too. And so it is the fiber, once the fiber was made in the first place, this is the recycled fiber. That fiber is recyclable over and over and over again. So the fiber is recycled and respun into new material for weaving these rugs, which are outdoor rugs, durable for out of doors. Now let's turn to you, Anelle. And we'll want to be sure that you unmute yourself, Anelle.
There we go. So I picked some pieces from some of my favorite brands, which is a great thing because I appreciate their aesthetic and also the fact that they are members of the Sustainable Furnishings Council. the first piece is this Havana bar stool. I am always looking for interesting bar stools that are also family friendly. So what I loved about this one was that it has a separate seat cushion, so it'll be comfortable as opposed to just having a wood bar stool. And that seat cushion could be, washed or sent out to be cleaned. And then the caning in the back and the shape of it is also very comfortable. And I think it has a beautiful, sleek design and is an excellent choice for any kitchen.
Yeah, and Summer Classics manufactures in several places. This particular piece, the back of it, that rattan is manufactured in Southeast Asia, and that rattan is something that is cultivated by small farmers in areas that need more agricultural products that can be sold onto the international market. So that's a cool thing about choosing rattan. Now we move on.
Okay. This piece from Gabby Home is an outdoor floor lamp, which I think is surprising. I think it would look beautiful inside. And again, it's a mix of materials. It's very simple in a way, but I also think it's interesting at the same time with the base because it's an unusual shape, I think. And so most of my picks are really things that I would select for projects that I'm working on and have the added benefit of being good to our world, really.
Definitely a durable design sort of a look there. And now with the delay, we move on to this sofa you chose.
EJ Victor is one of my favorite vendors. They have such a wonderful selection of contemporary and traditional and everything in between. And I picked this sofa again because it has this interesting detail on the base. I love that little unexpected extra on the furnishings we select for our projects. And the other thing about EJ Victor, as you said, Susan, they're in North Carolina, so tracking these pieces up to the Northeast, where most of my projects are, is also sustainable.
Yeah. That's good. And they are a founder of Sustainable Furnishings Council. And they also made this next piece.
Yeah. This is a beautiful dining table. I love the finish on it because it's forgiving. Scratches and daily wear and tear, I think, are less noticeable on these lighter finishes. But at the same time, it still feels tailored. It doesn't feel like a farm table or anything like that. And EJ Victor, I think, is the perfect example to show people how sustainable design can be chic and tailored and stylish, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a more beachy, earthy aesthetic.
Yeah, that is the truth. They are very elegant. Yeah. Thank you all so much. And what I'm going to do now, Breegan, I think we've still got you on sound, though there you are, she's back.
I'm here.
So one thing I thought we might do now, we definitely can take our questions, start taking our questions from the audience. But there are several questions and comments here that I'll run through, but I wonder whether any of you on the panel have other things that you want to say about things that you have seen. What do you think, Breegan?
Well, I really like all of the products here. And again, I really want to push people towards the SFC website, Susan, which is sustainablefurnishingcouncil.org. Hopefully you guys are not hearing that same feedback I have. But I really find that that webpage is very useful because we can start to make these decisions more easily. And you've made that available for us, Susan, through your search bar. And it really takes out a lot of the work for us designers in needing to have all of this beautiful information that everyone shared today. And we can get back to what we love, which is picking with our eyes and what we want to pull together in a room. So for anyone viewing in today, that resource I think is the most tangible that I would love everyone to be just reminded of again and again. But yeah, no, Susan, I love how much information you have at the tip of your tongue on each and every one of these products and these companies. You can tell the SFC Council with your leadership is truly organically felt, and we see that when you talk about them and your face lights up, and you've done all the hard part for us, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I do. I cannot do the work that y'all do in choosing just the right product to make every room look just perfect, which you really do all do so beautifully. But I sure can talk your ear off about what it's made of and why that matters to me.
So and we appreciate every minute of it.
And do others?
Did anyone else want to share?
So Laurence, you're Laurence, let's try now, Laurence.
I just wanted to add, I think I'm unmuted now. No, just wonderful leadership, Suzanne. I mean, for so many years, and we are where we are thanks to you. But I wanted to add the importance of looking at established brands as well as the rising ones. You know, for designers as well as consumers, just of course referring to the list so well described by Breegan. You know, go to sustainablefurnishings.org and look at the Green Guide link as well as what it's made of, but really look at the diversity, at the range of different companies, the established one as well as the growing, you know, small companies. There is such a large array of choices there, and it's good to just venture out and explore. There's a lot that we discover through all these SFC members.
Yeah, yeah.
And Laurence, I'll just listen to anything you say with that cute accent. Sorry to cut you off, Anelle.
No, that's okay. I wasn't sure how to let everyone know that I wasn't on mute. But I just wanted to add something about us as designers and making these responsible choices. I know that when I'm looking for pieces of furniture for a project, I'm eliminating pieces that I might think are based on size, based on price point. So I think adding in that that sustainability portion as part of the criteria and making sure that that is something that is on all our minds when we're making selections and presenting those to the clients. You know, it's not that much different from all those other parameters that we may have. And I think that's important to incorporate in all our firms forward if we want to have a world that we all enjoy, you know, a world for our children, and we're not all getting crazy diseases and sitting here for decades saying, oh, I wonder why.
Yeah. I'd like to piggyback on that comment too and just say, you know, I think a lot of times people strive too much for perfection and finding the most green, perfect product, and you could spend hours down the rabbit hole trying to find the most green chair, right? But I think it's just having the common sense and being able to evaluate products based on where they're made, how far they travel, what they're made of, like Susan's been great on educating everyone about materials, and just, you know, finding two most important factors that are most important to you and evaluating the furnishings that way instead of trying to be perfect. I think perfection kills progress.
Good point. And I think John.
That's a great quote, Jennifer. But also, I just want to give you a shout out because the last panel we were on, were you talking about your spreadsheet that you used to have of everyone? So Jennifer is modest and I think a little bit of a perfectionist because I want that spreadsheet. But thank you for that.
Yeah.
And Susan, what I'm continually amazed by is I'm always finding different vendors that that are members of the Sustainable Furnishing Council. And I think a lot of us have in our heads this old idea that sustainable doesn't mean that it can be beautiful or stylish or of the moment. And I think if you look at all the amazing choices that were selected, I think, you know, not only are there beautiful products, but there's an incredible range of product that we can select. And, you know, and you have that wonderful little search engine on your website where I can put in mirror or bedside table, and it'll give me, you know, a list of vendors who are all sustainable that I can, you know, shop their sites and shop these days with confidence that I'm going to find product I can use.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, John. Yeah. Well, we do have several questions and comments here. We're going to go back to one of your early choices, Breegan. Jaipur also has the Pathways by Verde Homeline, which is all naturally dyed wool. And I didn't talk about that when I was talking about them as a company, but any textile production using dyes is going to run the risk of resulting in pollution. And Jaipur does a lot with natural dyes that pollute less. There's also a question here. Does anyone know where we can purchase the Heritage Bed Linen Collection from Libeco? Yes, you can buy it directly from Libeco. So you can go to libeco.com and buy it there. Let's see. We also—
Susan, thank you for reading those questions.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. And there's room to put, there's time to put in other questions if you have them. It says here, Red Egg has two collections that are made in the US, the Double Happiness and Shanghai Loft collections. This is an interesting another thing about Red Egg. They have a collection of rattan that is, and as I said, rattan is an important material because the thick rattan is wild harvested and so gives jobs to people in remote areas where they're pulling weeds out of their local ecosystems. The little rattan is cultivated, and it is cultivated in rural areas where there's not a lot of opportunity to interact with the global economy. So growing rattan that goes into furniture that goes around the world is one way they can do that. And the rattan furniture that Red Egg makes is made in a woman-owned factory in the Philippines. So that is rather remarkable too. Yeah. Let's see. And somebody is commenting here, another important truth, that Kravet has great fabrics made with recycled fibers. Some fibers can be very easily recycled. In home furnishings, in the upholstery industry, we use a lot of mixed fibers, and sometimes that leads to challenges in recyclability. But cotton can be recycled over and over again. Wool can be recycled over and over again. Polyester can be recycled over and over again. And polyester mixed with a little bit of cotton can be recycled over and over. Well, Kravet is using a lot of recycled materials and of course is making beautiful fabrics with them. And here is a question that I will give an opinion on, and then I'm going to open it up to y'all. No, first I'm going to have y'all comment on how important is locally made versus overseas. Why don't y'all talk about that as your who wants to start on that one?
I'll start.
Good.
I am a big proponent of locally made furniture because not only are you reducing, the greenhouse gas emissions, but it usually means that the furniture is going to be better quality if it's made in the US. And that means it's going to last a lot longer, which is great for our clients and great to live with. But it also means that those pieces can have another life. They can be reupholstered. Items that are traveling from far away, that are mass produced in China, for instance, are not something that you're going to be able to reupholster and then they're going to land up in a landfill. So I think trying to buy things locally in the US at least, and trying to, if you're on the West Coast, there's a ton of West Coast vendors that manufacture in California, or on the East Coast, High Point and Georgia. I think there's so many resources in both places that you really don't need to go overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Anelle. I would say all of what she said, and also you have more control over the product and the end result. You can specify everything that goes into that piece of furniture, and have that knowledge to pass on to your clients about what kind of wood was used, what kind of stains, the finishes, the fabric, and everything that goes into it. And also, in this world of living in a pandemic, you have much better lead times. So that's another practical reason to go local. Is right now there's no way I'm ordering furniture from overseas. I don't usually do it anyway, but it's just another reason not to, because things are getting held up in customs. Things are not able to leave countries. We had a rug stuck in Nepal for, I think, 4 months, just trying to get on a plane out of there. So that lead times for clients, I think, is a practical choice to keep it closer to home as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with both Anelle and Jennifer's point. And I will add that locally sourced items really save with packaging and transportation, which is a very important aspect of the life cycle assessment of any product. And that the packaging of any products that are being shipped is a real issue. And so by locally sourced, we sort of contribute to not increase that issue of packaging, which is progressively being addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So sourcing locally in that way is helpful for that aspect.
Yeah.
And just to also echo, on the last panel we were on, we talked about how if you have any questions about the way something's being produced, when it's sourced locally, you have the ability to visit the factory, shake hands, and John, like you're saying, discover some of these newer brands or coming up companies, so you can really just get out there and see what's happening. It's something I think we talked about all loving to do as designers, because you get to see behind the curtain, and that's obviously a lot easier when they are in your backyard, your personal backyard.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Susan. I also wanted to remind people the register thing, which is up on your screen now, which is to just email admin@sustainablefurnishings.org if you would like to register today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Susan, any last words? Any more questions? Are we wrapping up?
We are wrapping up. We have reached the end of our hour. Thank you all very, very much for the excellent choices you made on the 2020 Green Ribbon Award and on all the information you shared today. So thank you. And I do hope that anybody who's interested in this sort of thing will get involved with it. So thank you all, Breegan and Anelle and Laurence and John and Jennifer, for being so involved with us, for helping us sustain a healthy future.
Thank you, Susan.
I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say this. Thank you. It is such an honor to be the inaugural year of the ambassador program to be selected to be one of the ambassadors for the program. So thank you so much for involving us, and I'm sure we all learned a lot as well.
Good, good.
Thank you so much for everything you do, Susan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good. Onward.
Thank you everyone for joining. Until next
Thank you.
time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.